I am Father Xavier Pinto. It's the 57th year of my religious profession, and I've just completed 50 glorious years sharing the priesthood of Christ. So what happened is, when 1975 happened and we started the work and we went to prison, the whole country hears about it, because these are priests who were dressed in black, who went with their full verve into prison. And then they say, who are these priests? What have they done? Desmond was very good. He wrote everything out and we published it. So what happened is, as I went to Bombay in 1985, I asked for a transfer. The transfer was written out as, because of language that you know, you are posted there. So I was working in Hindi, in Marathi, and of course in basic English and Konkani. Hindi, Marathi, Konkani and English. So in the parish at Chembur, as I continued working and started working there, I discovered on a Sunday, domestic workers, Adivasi nature background, were coming to church. So I kept meeting them. The nuns next door, the Tabs, the Samberi nuns were involved. So together with them, we started a small group in Chembur. Then I discovered that there was a group of nuns in Baikala. They were also having groups. So slowly, I combined with them and we started the domestic workers movement in Mumbai. So at one of these meetings, there I was. It was Bishop William de Mello, erstwhile memory from Karwar. So there we were. He recognized me, I recognized him. I had preached in Karwar and all the churches in Konkani when he was bishop. And as time went along, he shifted his job and a new bishop was made, who was the Labour Commission, Bishop Leon Dharmaraj from Kothar. By the time Leon Dharmaraj came, the year 1990 occurred. And he meets me at one meeting and said, you know, we are looking for a secretary, executive secretary for the Commission of Labour in New Delhi. Would you be able to handle the job? So I said, Bishop, I need to sit with you and find out what the job is about. But you know, religious life is such, he wrote a letter to the provincial and said, we want Father Xavier. Provincial didn't even ask me. He just said yes. So that was my beginning of entering the Commission for Labour, without knowing what the detailed job was. But one thing I knew, domestic workers. So sitting in the office in New Delhi, I had an office for 15 years. I was re-elected 3 terms. Sitting in the office, it didn't take me time to discover that those days, no email, no social media, everything by post. Didn't take me time to so much of mail from the Vatican. Yeah. This is about domestic workers. This is about nomads. This is about migrant workers. This is about fisheries. This is about sailors. What's that? So the seafarers. So the bishop guided me and I was appointed by the CBCI as the national chaplain for seafarers. 15 years I held the job. What are the consequences of the job? The moment they appointed me national chaplain, the Vatican sent the message. No asking and all that. Just saying, you are appointed the coordinator for South Asia for the fisheries and for seafarers. So for South Asia, I was to cover the 15 ports of India, the 2 or 3 ports in Pakistan, the 2 ports in Bangladesh, and the 3 ports in Sri Lanka as coordinator for South Asia. So my job was to supervise the work of the chaplains in each of these ports to see that they do their job. So I traveled extensively and I went to these ports and I set up the whole setup, and reports have to be presented to the Vatican. So there's no hanky-panky about it. I was presenting reports and they used to call us to the Vatican every year in the beginning of January. All the coordinators from the world, 8 of us, I was South Asia. We used to meet in Rome for 2 weeks and we used to discuss and give in our reports. So having said that, I used to go to the meeting in Rome via Dubai. I stayed at the bishop's house. I got involved with the bishop's work and the ministry. Preaching was there. He used to invite me to preach missions. Then I said to him, Bishop, I go to the Vatican for these meetings with seafarers. What is happening about seafarers? He said, what is that? So I said, I can tell you, because I met the Protestant parson who is the chaplain, and he says there's a great possibility that many more get involved. So with that kind of reporting, I went to the Vatican and I spoke to, that time, Cardinal Stephen Fumio Hamao of Japan. He was in charge. And he said, Father, next time when you're passing through, send me a report and tell me what you feel about the work that can be done there. So on my next trip, within one year, I sent him a report and I said, can we establish the work of the Catholic Church in the Gulf, called the Work for the Apostleship of the Sea under Stella Maris? He said, send me a detailed plan. And within a few days, I could post him the detailed plan. I got an appointment, coordinator of the Gulf states. So I worked in that job for 7 years. I established everything, handed it over to a priest I thought was worthy, and Father John van der Leen, American citizen who spoke fluent Arabic, and he knew the whole Gulf. He was a priest of the Gulf states. So I put Father John van der Leen in place, but I take this opportunity to say it was a very sad event that a short while after he was appointed, he contracted cancer. He went to the States and he passed away. So the bishop in Abu Dhabi called me back for 1 year, and I stayed with them, and I continued the work of the Apostleship of the Sea in the Gulf states.